What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my WWE Money in the Bank 2025 reactions. This is going to be a bit quicker because I'm trying to be more efficient and straight to the point with my videos from now on, just to make them a little bit shorter. I will be obviously still doing more long form content, maybe more so in the Let's Talk Wrestling series, so I might not talk about all of these things that happened in so much depth, but I might take some parts out of it, or if you know there was something you want me to expand on further, then leave that in the comments and I will do a whole episode of Let's Talk Wrestling dedicated to it, which would be a bit longer, more of my like raw thoughts and feelings towards it rather than just a quick overview, which is more what this video will be. You know, it keeps you up to date if you haven't watched this, but yeah, I'm going to be trying to do this in less than 10 minutes if I can. So yeah, I did say on my predictions video, you can watch that if you're interested, that there was a chance, because I did it before SmackDown, obviously not seen SmackDown or AAA's Worlds Collide, that there could be a fifth match added, and that it was, with Octagon Jr. and Dominic Mysterio having that altercation at Worlds Collide. It did seem like it could have been a good match, but they did not get very long. Dominic retained, which I think everyone expected him to. If that was an announced match, then I would have went for Dominic, but I'm just predicting the 4 matches that were on the card. So we'll get to the first one of the night, which was the women's Money in the Bank. You had Stephanie, Julia, Roxanne, Rhea, Alexa, and of course the winner and new Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi, who I did predict. That was my choice to win it. I think she made the most sense. I was very glad that she won it, though. I did think she was always going to win it, but you know, I would have been happy with pretty much anyone but Rhea winning it. I think she needs to stay away from the title picture for a while, as I've said, but Naomi is a good choice. She obviously has already sort of hinted at a feud with Tiffany Stratton. You have the Jade and Bianca stuff still in the background, so if Naomi does go on to win the world title, she has those feuds straight ahead of her. Perfect. I don't think you could ask for much more. There were a few instances in the match when you thought other people could have won it. Stephanie, Julia, Roxanne, you know, they all have their small chances, but I'm very glad that it was Naomi to pick up the win. In the other women's match of the night, Becky Lynch defeated Lyra Valkyria, as I also predicted in that one, to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and making Lyra parade her around the ring, put her hand up, which obviously, if you saw it, if you didn't see it, then it led to Lyra snapping on her and hitting her with a Nightwing, which I really like. Great finisher, which is Phantom Driver, also used by Santos Escobar. I really like that move. And I like Lyra Valkyria. I think she's a very good wrestler. I love her leg drop as well. So smooth. The one on the barricade, that was very nice. But I thought she looked strong in the match. I'm very happy with how that went. I wouldn't have been against her carrying on her reign, but I sort of understand why they did that. Otherwise, Becky would have never been able to compete for it again. And, you know, it elevates the title to some degree. I don't know where Lyra goes from here if she tries to win it back. Probably not immediately. I don't think she should go back to the tag division. I think she should be setting her sights for Io Sky. I know that's a face-on-face feud, and I don't think by any means that is a heel turn on the part of Lyra Valkyria. We'll get Dom out of the way for this bit. So can we zoom in? Not really. So yeah, pretty good on that front. The women's matches were decent. I just think the Money in the Bank match was it was just a bit off, like the timings. It felt like they were just going from spot to spot, and there wasn't really much improvised in between them. And you know, it's like getting timings and cues right and stuff like that. It is awkward in those big matches. You know, everyone's sort of lying on the outside for the majority of the match, other than when they're involved in things. So it can definitely be tricky. I do empathize with that. Obviously, last year's one was pretty crazy, so they set the bar quite high. But yeah, you can understand, especially Stephanie wrestling 3 matches in like a day. So, you know, fair enough. But she hit the devil's, what's it called? Devil's Kiss on the ladder to Rhea. I thought that was a really cool spot. You had the double Code Red pop rocks. Really nice spot as well. But yeah, getting on to the main event. Cody and Jay versus Logan and Cena. Not got much to say about it. Not really. I don't care. We saw Cena and Logan sort of breaking down. You know, there's a bit of anger there. Whether that's a future opponent for Cena, I'm not interested in that, in all honesty. We saw Jay obviously build up to the Cody hot tag, and eventually, in the end, R-Truth returns and takes out John Cena. I'm happy about that. I'm really glad to see R-Truth back. It seems like it wasn't a work, and because honestly, R-Truth being released, I feel like the WWE would not have expected that much of a fan reaction, you know? I don't think they would have expected that much support for R-Truth and like the fans demanding to bring him back. Unfortunately, Carlito hasn't had that, otherwise he might be back in the company already. But I don't think this was always part of the plan. Triple H said it, I think, but R-Truth's son put something on Instagram sort of begging to differ. Apparently R-Truth sort of didn't want to listen to anything. We heard reports about TNA being interested in him, but he is back, and he's back as Ron Killings. I don't know if this is going to be a heel run, but he's turning heel against a heel, but the heel isn't turning face, so he's not really a heel. I guess he's just like a more serious version of R-Truth, of Ron Killings, and I hope he does really well. I mean, it's a tricky one because it's probably still his last run, but I don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, nice to see Cody get the pin over Cena. He's got a legitimate reason for a rematch, a SummerSlam rematch potentially. What's the next pay-per-view? Is it SummerSlam? We're in June right now, so July. I feel like SummerSlam's in August. I'm yawning in like back-to-back videos here. But yeah, that's about everything. So Jay retains the title. Doesn't retain the title because he didn't have it on the line, but he goes on to face Gunther tomorrow night on Raw with a potential Goldberg interference. They did do an episode of Let's Talk Wrestling about Goldberg's final match, which could be coming off the back of tomorrow night's world title match where he could interfere against Gunther. So go and watch that if you want. I also did a PIC-FED match of that, so go and watch that one as well if you want. And I will zoom in at this point as we get into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought it was okay. It was obviously like the co-main. One of my main problems with the main event is that Seth Rollins didn't try and cash in when it's clearly the best possible opportunity. I thought Andrade looked solid. He was the MVP of last year's one. I was disappointed when Pat McAfee said no one's talking about him, because that's literally your job. Gable, obviously, or El Grande Americano, obviously off the back of that very physical match against Vikingo. Did pretty well. He had the steel-plated mask and all of that. Penta hit that wicked Mexican Destroyer to LA Knight. LA Knight, did he suplex Chad Gable off the ladder? Gable obviously had the sponsored ladder, which is stupid as shit, by the way. LA Knight doesn't win again, which I'm really disappointed with. That's 3 years in a row, and I will get on to. I'll probably leave the. I'll bring those guys back. To be fair, what is wrong with LA Knight? Like, getting over for some guys is rewarded immensely. For other guys, it just doesn't seem to be at all. LA Knight has not been rewarded at all for what he's done. I know he's been a 2-time United States champion, but really, he should be in the world title picture by now. A guy who was rumoured to have maybe been able to win it. Solo looked like he was going to win it at one point. Then we get the big betrayal by Jacob Fatu, who turns on him. If Solo's a face, I'm fine with that. I really like Solo. I know he got a lot of hate recently, but I do really like him. And I think he's a great face. He's a really good comedy character, and he showed that. But yeah, we're getting close to the cutting point. So yeah, Seth Rollins does win the Money in the Bank, which I did predict. I went 4 for 4 on this show, which was pretty good. First time I've done that, I think. And I'm fine with Seth Rollins winning. My only problem with it is it feels like two years in a row, him and Drew McIntyre have won the briefcases to like amplify and intensify the stories that are already hot. Seth Rollins and his new stables are red hot at the minute. That's one of the biggest angles in WWE, and they're trying to further that when they don't need to. They could have given it to LA Knight, and then that's interesting. You don't know when he's going to cash in. You don't know who he cashes in on. Seth Rollins probably against Jay. I don't know when, but I'm coming up to 10 minutes, so if you want to hear any more about this stuff, then leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.